May the blessings of Ma Durga be with you. Durga Puja begins today, the 5-day celebration of one of the most powerful goddesses in the Hindu pantheon. She is variously worshipped as the fiercely protective mother of the universe, as the unstoppable warrior Kali, who brings change and liberation, as the gentle nurturer Parvati. During this festival in her honor, especially in the state of Bengal, she returns to her childhood home. Like other grown daughters, she brings her partner and children with her and visits the place where she grew up. Durga Puja is an occasion for grown daughters all over India to return to their first home, bringing their spouses and children. And in this way, it connects at least 3 kinds of home: the one they grew up in, the one they now live in, and the people who are their home wherever they go. The word home. Annika got us started. Maybe it evokes cozy images like fire in a fireplace, hot chocolate, the people we love, familiar and cared for objects, an animal curled up nearby. I thought of my cat too. Good memories. Unless it doesn't. For some people, the word home evokes harsh words, painful memories, not a haven, but a deeply unsafe and frightening place. And for some, it brings up a blank. Maybe for some people, there is no place that has felt like home. Places they've lived, but between those experiences and what home is supposed to be, they sense an unbridgeable chasm. Like so many precious words, home has been used in so many ways that they pull at each other, they cross, they contradict. It's used sometimes just to mean a house, as in if you don't have one, you're homeless. It means the country of our citizenship, as in if you are living outside that country, you're in exile, in need of asylum, or at the very least, a traveler, a stranger. There are lots of words, of course, that suffer from this multiplicity of conflicting meanings, or benefit from them, maybe. Family, church, patriotism, love. And another such word is belonging. So that Brené Brown, in her considerable research and writing on the topic, falls back again and again on the term true belonging. She is all too aware that often when we say belonging, we mean fitting in or becoming part of an in-group, or the counterfeit connection, in her phrase, of common enemy intimacy. These all pull at us because our need for belonging, true belonging, is real. And we'll grab at things that feel at all like that. True belonging, she says, is not passive. It's not the belonging that comes with just joining a group. No, I'm sorry. These are the words of Scott Taylor. So similar. Scott Taylor, who brings us the Soul Matters program. True belonging is not the belonging that comes with just joining a group. It's not fitting in or pretending or selling out because it's safer. It's a practice that requires us to be vulnerable, get uncomfortable, and learn how to be present with people without sacrificing who we are. Now, just joining, adjusting ourselves to fit in may come easier than true belonging, than finding or making a true home. But as every adult child knows, if we are to feel at home back where we grew up, and not instantly to revert to a much earlier stage of our development, it really helps if it will make room for who we are now. Even a goddess keeps changing and needs that elastic welcome. We speak of our congregation as a spiritual home. So what makes it a true home? Who's welcome in this home? How can it be a place where we are both loved as we are and urged to transform ourselves? Because if I have one quibble with the very thoughtful and scholarly Dr. Brown, it's that when she says true belonging doesn't require you to change who you are, but requires you to be who you are, well, yes, and change is a part of being and belonging. Do we really want a spiritual home where we're not challenged to keep changing, while also, perhaps paradoxically, being welcomed just the way we are? So that's all true of our spiritual home, and we speak of our country as our homeland, our home. What makes a country a true home? Who is welcome here? And can they bring their true selves rather than leave behind huge parts of who they are in order to fit in? What family stories do we tell as a country? What history? Can we be honest about our history? Thank you, 1619 Project. So that we can be our true selves. That experience of being part in, part out, physically present, but not quite feeling like you can be your full self. Maybe you've experienced that somewhere. As our country rages over immigration, an old family argument we have about once a generation or more, there are core questions at the heart. Some people are saying to others, "You don't belong here." There have always been those like the men that David Crosby rages against, the ones who will destroy others' peace from the comfort of their own homes. They will tell those of us who were born here that those who were not threaten our homeland, threaten our own sense of belonging, simply by trying to make this home their own as well. And then there are the other voices countering, "This home, newcomers, can be yours as well. You do belong here." And recently, with members of this congregation as leaders, even going on a hunger strike to demand that we make our county a place whose workers and inhabitants can call it home, can really belong. Not live in the shadows, in the dusty attics of second-class status, or in fear. Bless you all. Warson Shire, the poet whose words Maura shared at our chalice lighting, lives in that in-between that so many of us have experienced on a global scale. She has Los Angeles, where she now lives with her husband and children. There's the home of her raising from the time she was a year old, London, where she is the first young poet laureate. There is the place she was born, Kenya. There is the place her parents were born and from which they emigrated, Somalia. She is connected by blood and cultural memory to thousands of refugees and immigrants. Her poetry expresses the paradoxes of home for those who must leave one home and try to find another. You may know her searing poem, Home, the one that begins, "No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark." And so she voices that in-betweenness when she says that maybe home is a place I haven't been. Somewhere I'm going and never have been before. She's giving voice to the experiences of those who were never safe in the place that was called their home, or who have not yet found the true belonging, of which Brene Brown writes, and our own Reverend Scott Taylor writes. Sometimes we have to leave home in search of something that's central to who we are. We follow a teacher, we create a new family with someone we love, we settle into a vocation that allows our gifts to blossom. Sometimes we have to leave home because it's dangerous there. There's abuse, physical or emotional. We're not affirmed in our identity. We're not allowed to nurture our gifts. Once we find belonging, it's like finding a home that goes with us. Wherever we are affirmed in being who we are, and that change again, becoming who we want to become, we belong. We're at home. And if we don't find that, then no matter where we are, how safe or attractive or accepting it seems to be, we are not yet home. No matter how far we travel, if we don't believe in and belong to ourselves, we'll be restless. A core of our mission as a congregation is to be a place where each one of us who enters in good faith can share our most authentic selves and be who we are. That way we will be able to go anywhere and feel the warm fires of home within. Is that not what we do when we extinguish our chalice and say we take the fire with us? Okay, so making a home for all who choose to step inside, as the hymn said, that can be challenging. I mean, let's be real, it's downright scary. It's not so easy in this culture to find a place where we can really be ourselves, where we can really belong. And so when we find it, as many of us have found it here, we can become very fearful that it will change. We don't quite trust that we will always belong here. We think that belonging depends on others being like us. And so it's understandable that we can hesitate to welcome new people. We screen them a little, with questions. What do you do for work? Or with just a look. A Unitarian Universalist minister in Massachusetts, Barbara Merritt, called this look the Yankee welcome. That was nice of her. We can do it in California just fine. Assess and find someone acceptable or not based on whether we, the ones already within the warm embrace of belonging, decide they belong too. That can be summed up in the brief question, do they fit in? Which is not really the right question. As Brene Brown reminds us, fitting in and belonging are not the same thing. Belonging is far more dynamic. It's a conversation. And that means that when we come into a group, if we're really welcome there, we're going to change it. Not drastically. Your Soul Matters group, and you can be in a Soul Matters group if you want to absorb some of that great Scott Taylor and other wisdom. They're open. Have a look at your order of service. You don't want your Soul Matters group to suddenly turn into fundamentalist Bible study. Okay, I think we're safe there, right? But there's going to be some discomfort. The discomfort of vulnerability and of questioning ourselves. That's what happens when people get real. And we know this. When we come to a country, we change it. Look at Albert Einstein and Gloria Estefan and Steve Jobs and Isabel Allende. If you want to see wonderful ways that the country is changed by immigrants and their children, heck, look at Donald Trump and Elon Musk. None of them would be here today if walls had kept them out. Did I just totally undermine my whole argument? We might consider what home would be like if everyone who wasn't born here just ceased to care for elders in our community, harvest crops, build houses and bridges and roads, cook in restaurants, work in emergency rooms and intensive care units, slaughter chickens, tend children. We might consider what this homeland would be without who here is an immigrant or descendant of immigrants, whether they were willing or not. Okay? Without us. And everyone here has changed this congregation and will change it more. As Brene Brown says, if we get to be ourselves, we belong. If we have to be like the people already here, we only fit in. We belong, so we've changed things. The truth is, in a true home, everyone has an influence. A new family member changes the family, brings their own unique gifts, and yes, their challenging quirks. So no wonder Scott Taylor created small group programs. He wanted to help us be vulnerable and be ourselves. Be ourselves together in conversation, even as each of us is growing the possibilities of what everybody else in the room can be, which is most of the time delightful and sometimes difficult. You really can't have one without the other. The fear of what we'll discover if others are also vulnerable and themselves with us is understandable. We will be changed. That can be frightening. Just as it's understandable for people who are already financially insecure or who have watched businesses and community centers fold, their hometown turn into a ghost town, their neighbors move away. It's understandable for them to fear that a wave of immigration will be that last brick that brings the whole structure of home just tumbling down. But we're more resilient than that. Maybe we can help each other to know that the more we empower others to bring their whole selves, the more resilient we can be. This is an article of faith. Faith is scary, but in the end, it banishes fear. It replaces it with hope and love and connection, as well as all the other gifts that human beings bring. When we say, this is a little scary, but I'm going to stick it out. We want this congregation to be a place of true belonging, which in Taylor's words is not something you negotiate externally, it's what you carry in your heart. Just as we want this country to be a place that anyone can call home. May we be a home for true belonging so that all of us can carry that belonging with us wherever we go.